Hey, this is me building a $3 million a year business and documenting every step. The way these videos go is I start them with some YouTube comment Q&A. That's just to give you guys some value right off the bat, and it's also an engagement hack for me because it grows my channel faster. Then I do some growth stats across my YouTube, Instagram, and products. We're finally building in public, pontificating usually. This is the main channel here, 166,750 subs, just published a new cool case study. This is the daily updates channel, to be clear. I just scroll all the way down to the bottom and then answer all of your questions. So the last one was from Man Sheikha Liam, I think. Hey, I've just come across your videos. They're very interesting. Do you mind sharing a bit about your story to help put things into perspective for those who are just starting out with zero technical knowledge? When did you embark on this path? How long did it take for you to begin making enough money to support yourself? And how long did it take to get from that point to now? What are the major lessons you've learned along the way that have allowed you to get to where you are? And if you had to talk to a 23-year-old version of yourself with no technical or entrepreneurial skills, what would you tell them? Wow, what a great mix of questions. Thank you. So let me just go through this step by step. When did I embark on this path? If you're referring to entrepreneurship in general, I believe I was 19. I was throwing parties with my friends back in college, and we just started charging people for entry. To make a long story short, that was how my whole business life started. I just started charging people for entry into parties. We hired the biggest, baddest guy in our college to stand outside. I think he was like a power lifter or something. I looked like a freaking lumberjack. He was huge. And then from there, that naturally, organically evolved into a promotions company, which is called Savage Entertainment. We made some piddling amount of money for the first couple of years, but it was mostly just a play to be cool and, super popular. And then from there, I experimented with a number of things. I started doing Udemy courses for a variety of stuff. A lot of it was like speaking on camera and whatnot, because I just thought I was good at speaking on camera. I did like a big body language course that took off after I read some body language book and thought I could be like a body language expert. Just did a bunch of stuff, threw a bunch of stuff at the wall and saw what stuck. And then when I started like the agency stuff, I believe I was like definitely in my early 20s still. I don't know exactly what age, but I started going door to door, selling local Google My Business marketing services. And then I just went door to door for a good few months and made absolutely no money whatsoever. And then I had to get a job because I just could not make it work for the life of me, just because I was making some minor strategic errors with the door-to-door and the way I was doing the contracts and stuff in hindsight. So I got a job. I worked a few jobs. And then one of the jobs I worked was at a similar agency to the door-to-door work that I was doing. And so I got a look into like how they actually structure processes, how like a successful business operates and presents itself and stuff. And then I think like 6 months later, when I started my business again for the second time, I knew a lot more and it was a lot easier for me to like hit the ground running, which was great. In between, I also still did a bunch of other jobs and on the short-term positions and stuff like that because I had to make rent, and I lived in a variety of like pretty crappy living situations to try and get myself through. Did not have a glamorous entrepreneurial life whatsoever. Just banging my head against the wall for the vast majority of, like half a decade, basically, before I started making enough money not to have to take the bus to, or like bargain bin Value Village for clothes and stuff. I don't know if you guys have that in America, but that's like a thrift store up here. And then, I started a variety of other businesses, and most of them failed. E-commerce companies and drop shipping operations and SMMA operations and stuff like that as well, consultancies and stuff. Vast majority of them would just fail over and over and over and over. And then finally, COVID hit and then landed me on my ass with one of the businesses that was working reasonably well. So then I had to do something else. And then when COVID hit, I was just like, oh, wait a second. I don't think I'm approaching business the right way. Rather than making a business that is reliant on the local ups and downs, whether or not businesses are open or closed, I should create a set of skills that will allow me to weather any storm. And so that's when I started going like remote. And that was really like the big takeoff for me, because I started just like self-teaching myself computer science and stuff like that. And I started freelancing like some software engineering jobs. And then that was like, that was the big takeoff for me. So from there, I started looking into AI. This was back in 2019, right as the AI boom was starting. I mean, people had no idea it was starting, but it was starting. So I was playing around with some very small models back then, GPT-2, which was the precursor to GPT-3, which is the precursor to ChatGPT, basically. And so I gained a bunch of like natural experience there. And then I started looking at how to make GPT-2 outputs into things that I could sell on the internet, like, Fiverr and stuff. Wasn't very good. But then in 2020, right around that time, I was already like looking into GPT-2 and stuff. But in 2020, when COVID hit, immediately after GPT-3 was dropped by OpenAI. And then that was like the big unlock for me where I was like, holy crap, you could use this stuff to make a ton of freaking money if you're smart about it. So I went and I tried like backdooring my way, getting access to that model at the time, which was, under lock and key, but they had given the model to a few people that were working at, I guess, organizations in San Francisco who knew the founders of OpenAI or whatnot. I guess they were just trying it out in various contexts. And one of the models there was it was like a relationship model. Basically, it was supposed to be like a chatbot, and the chatbot had a story mode. And so I piped outputs from the story mode into Fiverr listings, and then that's how I verified that I could do freelance writing, of course, kind of in like an automated way. And then I took those freelance writing outputs, and then I used it to scale like a little Fiverr business where I was selling stuff for like 1 cent a word, then 2 cents a word, and then 3 cents a word. As I scaled, I realized that, the quality of GPT-3 outputs were just not good enough to like fully autonomously do things. And I came into contact with a guy at the time, Noah, who ended up being one of my best friends and really good business partners to this day. I was just chatting with him not even like 20 minutes ago. And he said something along the lines of like, hey, would you, this is really exciting. Would you mind if I partnered with you on this? I'm not going to ask for anything up front. I want to show you that like you could charge way more than 3 or 4 or 5 cents a word for this. I could hire some people and then I could build out infrastructure that will enable us to scale this as a business. I was like, no way, man. I'm going to do all this stuff on my own. But he just kept on dogging me. And then eventually I was like, all right, fine. Then at the time I was on a trip to Eastern Europe with the family. So he actually ended up just like doing the vast majority of everything for the better part of like a month or so. He hired like an administrative assistant that now still continues to work with us. And we've like 4 or 5 or 6x the amount of money that she was making initially. She's gained a ton of skills in automation and whatnot. Lovely girl. And he like started building the project management infrastructure. We started bidding to projects on platforms like Fiverr. We did like Upwork for a while, and then we started exploring other ways to acquire clientele. Then eventually, we were charging about 9 or 10 cents a word for writing projects, which was like obviously 9x what I was doing before initially. And then we just scaled it from there. Started hiring people to like edit the outputs of AI and so on and so forth. And eventually we got access to the model natively. And then that was just like really, really big. And we just like built a ton of training infrastructure to like have writers come in, realize that you could write all this stuff with AI and then like hypercharge them. Our benefit was that we paid them per hour, but then AI obviously multiplied the productivity by like 4 or 5x. So we were able to get significantly more on the margin end of things than most other content writing companies. We blitzed that up to 92K in a month. And then we received like a buyout offer, which is pretty interesting. Right around that time, after a couple of years, ChatGPT hit, like ChatGPT, not GPT-3. And that was the consumer product that made everybody realize, wait a second, you can actually write stuff with AI now? Holy shit. So we were kind of existentially scared about the business. And that is when I started the automation agency. Noah and I were discussing exactly where we wanted to take the business. We were talking about how, hey, with more people learning how AI works and more people realizing that, you can generate content now, our main competitive advantage is gone. So is there an industry that is not going to shrink with AI, but grow with AI? And the conclusion was very obvious and very clear to us, which was, AI automation services. Like the implementation of these technologies is obviously going to continue growing with AI. Duh. I mean, it's what everybody wants, right? So might as well try cashing in on that gold rush. So then we started an automation agency, Left Click. And then the first month, I think we hit 20,000. I don't know for sure. It was 15,000 or 20,000. And Noah had a kind of a challenge. And he's like, if we hit this number, you're coming to the Philippines with me. We're going to go party. It's like, the hell are you talking about? No way. But like we hustled really hard and then we hit that number in the first month. And like 2 days later, we bought plane tickets to go to the Philippines together. And then we just like lived there for, I think it was about 3 weeks. So that was pretty cool. And then, that's where, we met a bunch of our old 1 Second Copy team members. That was the name of the business that we set up and stuff. And did a little bit of an offsite, invited our Australian staff member to come as well. And then just had like a blast, to be honest. It was really, really cool. And then we just continued working on the automation agency and just continued scaling it from there. So we were profitable from month 1, if you think about it that way. But there was a lot of dry tinder that I was accumulating in terms of agency and sales skills for the better part of like the 10 years leading up to that. So it's not exactly, not exactly the straightest line path, I would say. But hopefully that gives you some insight. And hopefully that has taught you some of those major lessons that you're asking for. If I could talk to myself, what would I would say, start digital much earlier. If I had not done digital stuff that late, I think I'd be able to be significant. I think I'd be significantly more ahead. Okay. Couple more questions. Started my AI automation agency just a month and a half ago. 15 to 20K a month solving business problems through self-hosted flow. I'm considering whether to stay focused or pivot into AI auditing systems, AI infrastructure with operating dashboards and systems. If I join Maker School or Make Money with Make, would there be support to make that transition? My goal is to scale this to $300,000 to $400,000 a month within the next 6 to 7 months. Those are some big goals. Nick, I truly value your honest advice. Need your support on the best decision forward. That's really interesting. I'll be honest, the AI auditing and infrastructure stuff, that's just a repackaging move, right? So it doesn't mean anything different from what we're already doing. It is the exact same thing, just repackaged to look and sound different. And it's a smart play if you're a content creator, because obviously if you use the same thing for a very long time, people get fatigued by that. So AI audits, AI infrastructure, there's no real fundamental difference, if I am honest. In terms of the actual deliverable, it's just the packaging that's a little bit different. So there's no support to make that transition, but we just do the same business model under the hood. We just haven't rebranded it yet. We'll probably rebrand it at some point, just because, the market is getting fatigued with AI automation as the keyword. Hey, Nick, when selling cold email, so yeah, definitely join, my man. I don't know if I'll be able to help you scale to $400,000 a month in the next 6, 7 months. Obviously, you're crushing it like a month and a half ago to 15,000, 20,000 a month. You sound like me and my buddy Noah, but yeah, this is like, you're probably going to run into some resistance as you scale, and you're going to have other issues that you might not really be anticipating right now. It's unfortunately not a straight line of path. It's like, hey, client one makes me $5,000 a month. So if I want to scale to 300,000, I just need to get, 60 clients, right? That seems pretty easy. There are a few more things that go in there, but we do teach you how to, hire people and do SOPs and stuff. Those are month 2 and month 3. Aiden says, when selling cold email systems to clients, how do you deal with their inbox management when someone replies? Do you set up automatic subsequences, or does someone from the team manually handle that? Yeah, someone from the team manually handles that. And you are selling booked meetings on interested prospects, so you should just black box the system and then sell all of that stuff out yourself. Nick, thanks for the reply. You're the GOAT. Thank you very much, Ryder. Nick, do you think AI automation will eventually die out in the future, or is it going to be a constant game of who can evolve with it? Yeah, this is a great question. I guess it's related to that repackaging thing. I think like keywords die for sure. So branding yourself as an AI automator in 2027 is probably not going to make a lot of sense. But there are a lot of cool new keywords that are coming out, cool new ways to package what you do. So one now is called go-to-market engineering, GTM engineering. And so like go-to-market engineering is basically the first half of all of the AI automation stuff that I do, that like gets you up and running, builds systems that enables you to, build lead lists really quickly, reach out to them autonomously, and then get a big book of business, or at least pass things off to a sales team. GTM engineering is basically the same thing as like most AI automation for growth, but it just sounds cool. So sounds new, right? Sounds exciting. I also think people are eventually getting fatigued by AI, and then eventually we're just not going to use the term AI at all. Everything's just going to have AI baked into it. So yeah, the term will definitely die out, but the need of businesses for AI, like obviously not, right? That's the whole reason and the whole gambit that I made when I started the AI automation agency many years ago now. I don't know how many years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I guess. But yeah, like we're doing something that grows with AI, not something that disappears with AI, like content. Hey, Nick, I have a question for you. So my question is, if I want to sell AI automations to real estate businesses and a one-time fee, including the setup, how much should I charge per automation in USD? This is a very vague question, and there's no way, unfortunately, I'd be able to solve this for you, because an automation is not an automation, which is not an automation. There's so many different types of automations that you could sell. There are simple proposal generators, and then there are automated reply systems, and then there are like full stack hiring pipelines. That, are like, they take a team to build over the course of like 3 months. There's a lot that goes into a lot of this stuff. So no real way that you could now know per automation, and I would encourage you not to think of it this way. If this was like per 500 word blog post, it'd be different, right? But you're asking me per automation, and that's just like so difficult to say. So my recommendation is look up Nick Saraev value-based pricing, and then click on one of these 2 videos here, and then just use my value-based pricing framework in order to determine how much to charge for a specific automation. Is cold calling a good option? Is it worth it? No, I don't really think so. Simply because cold calling, the vast majority of your outreach is just like going to land in a place that people can't see it. You have to be synchronous. You have to be there at the same time the business owner is there. You have to like bypass a gatekeeper. It's not really worth it right now, I would say. Just do Loom videos, because then you can send it at 2 a.m. in the morning, and then the person will read it then the next day, right? Like you'll never run out of that outreach. And then you can just follow up over and over and over again if necessary. So much value as always. Shot a quick note to your inbox. Thanks, Tom. Alan says, congratulations, buddy. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate this. I think I'll leave it there. Yeah, leave it there. I think we're going to ultimately be like 3-4 days out here. I don't know exactly how I'm going to make this faster because I've cut down the daily updates significantly just in terms of total time. But yeah, I think 15 minutes is probably fine. So maybe we do 15 minutes to start. Then later on, I can kind of like figure out a better and more efficient system. Okay, just like doing some pontificating out loud, doing some yapping. Um, yeah, things are going pretty well. So I'm still delegating the email management. That's going to be pretty fun. Tom said they shot me an email earlier. I haven't like looked at my email inbox in quite a while because it is a mess in there and it's pretty scary. I did like start going down and doing some categorizing, but yeah, we have like I've gotten a couple of refund requests like a week and a half ago that I haven't sorted out. So I really need to step on this. It's just there are thousands of these, and it's just so difficult for me to sit down and then actually work out. And this is just, I don't know if you want to call this an excuse, but there's just so many damn emails that I'm getting that are currently a mixture of like newsletters that people are replying to because we set up an automation where if they reply to us, then, obviously it shows up in my inbox because this is more information that I can get from my prospects. Sponsorship requests. Oh, if I get like hundreds of these, thousands of these, maybe a week. No, probably hundreds. One-off questions about Maker School, one-off questions about Make Money with Make, refund requests. Like clients that want to work with me. Like it's a real big mess now. So I need to systematize the hell out of it. I set up systems to do automatic categorization and labeling and stuff. But what I've come to realize is there's just like, I'm just getting so many more and I don't have a system to like look through it all. So I'm going to eventually be hiring somebody to take care of that for me. Just need to figure out who that person is. That's where I'm at right now. And then I'm just finishing up that lifestyle audit. Should be able to buy myself back some time, which is going to be fun. What else am I doing? Yeah, just like kind of minor things here or there. Like we published a case study yesterday, first video in a while. Let's see how the comments are actually just while I'm with you guys. Haven't actually looked at any of these. Just going to run through this. Great, W, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Cade. Appreciate it. Oh my God, he did it. No way. That's funny. Jake, the guy I did the case study with, had the Iron Man Arc Mark 1 heart. That's so cool. So cool. Anyway, okay, I guess people really like that. But yeah, this was like a Maker School case study where I just ran through like how they joined Maker School and now they make 25 grand a month. That was pretty good content. It's also pretty easy for me to produce. So I got another call in 2 hours on that. That's going to be fun to do. And then I'm probably just going to stockpile these and drip them out like once every week or two because I publish it and then I immediately saw an uptick in Maker School subscriptions. No shit, right? So the simplest way to get people to sign up to your thing is just show them a bunch of other people that have signed up to your thing and that have had success and just like hear like a raw, unfiltered journey. And we did have a raw, unfiltered journey. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't super polished. Like they had some ups and downs and we had some weird gaps in our conversation. I think one of the guys like cut out there for like a good like 10 minutes or something like that. But people like that sort of authenticity, which is cool. So yeah, I guess what am I trying to say? Trying to say things are going well. I'm in sort of like this weird pause period right now. I'm in a weird pause period right now where I'm not like producing content regularly and I'm trying to figure out how best to economize my time. This is natural. I peaked with the Maker School stuff when I was on stage with Alex Hormozy and then Sam Evans answering questions. That was like the natural, holy shit, no way, I did it. And it's not that I'm taking my foot off the gas, but I am doing restructuring right now and reorganization to try and figure out, okay, now that I've like hit this next level, where do I want to go from here and how do I want to structure my life? Anywho, let's now wrap it up with some brand stats. I'm changing the structure of this. So it's July the 29th here. So you see, this is an unbroken chain of my subscriber growth all the way from 40K subs until now. I have 10,108 on the daily updates channel. And then my Instagram is 288,747. Then my main channel is, let's see, 166,758. So we've grown 513 since yesterday. That's okay. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Looking forward to the next one. If you guys have any questions, please just add them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you guys very much for showing up every day alongside me. Cheers.